My name's Robert Larkins. This is our huge Lego Star Destroyer. You can see it on Instagram at Huge Lego Star Destroyer, easy to find. This is a project my son and I started, although mostly I ended up doing most of the work, about almost 2 years ago. So in June 2017 we started building it. We started building it. We had built all the huge Lego Star Wars sets, and we're kind of looking for something big to build. And we found these LED designs on eBay, actually. So this gentleman, Kurt Epperson Peters, to give him credit, had designed it in Lego Digital Design, the Lego CAD program. But it was just the facade, no internals or instructions or anything. So we got those LED files and decided to try and make it. So we ordered probably 29,000 pieces off of Bricklink, and we have about 4,000 or 5,000 left. So we figured it's about 25,000 pieces is what it is. It's 8 foot, 6 inches long, and
That's an incredible project there. So talk about the process translating from just like the digital facade to an actual physical build that will stay together that you can display at the show.
Well, that was the process. I mean, first we had to build a structure to support it. So we actually got those wire shelving units, the 15-inch ones, and 2 8-foot, and zip tied those together, and then build a wedge structure for it. And then we built the bottom plates, and then you could set those in the wedge structure, and then once you kind of got the angle right, then we started building the internal structure that fit that angle and making sure that was solid. And so we kind of figured it out as we went. And then once the whole bottom was done, I was trying to figure out how everything was going to be connected. So the reality is, once the bottom was done, gravity became our friend. So the top panels can just lay on top. So with the studs facing in opposite direction, it was challenging to have it all internally connected. So we ended up just kind of more using stack design. So the top panels and then the tower structure is more just stacked on top of the bottom.
So is it possible to take off one of the panels and show the inside at all here?
Sure. So you can kind of see in here then a little bit what it looks like inside. It's not as pretty inside, but it's still all gray and black.
It's kind of a general lot of like cross beams and structural stuff.
Yes, yeah. And we did have to use a little bit of Craggle, especially on the long plates, because they're mostly made with 16 by 16 plates, which, you know, once you get longer than 3 feet, they tend to pop because the stress, there wasn't enough individual cracks to relieve the stress. So we tried to do it without glue, but then anytime we'd get over 4 feet, the wing would kind of crumble. So we had to just use a little glue on just the large wing structures. As well as we put a stiff lattice using the Technic bricks all along the bottom structure. And I did glue that down because I needed some tensile strength to keep. Once we took it off the big support, and now it's only on 3 supports, then that provided enough stiffness and tensile strength to keep the whole thing up.
Yeah, you would definitely need that extra support for a build of this size. So, as you can see, you know, it's massive in gray right here. So sourcing the parts for this, I'm sure, wasn't easy, finding that many parts in gray. What was that like for you? Was it difficult to find some of these parts to get in the quantity you needed?
It was a little challenging because the design was an older design, so it had all the old grays, like the old medium gray, and so I kind of had to figure out what grays I wanted to use, and so I went with the light blue, and then the light bluish gray, and then the dark bluish gray for the sides. But some of the pieces weren't available in that color, so I had to use some old gray mixed in, which I debated doing more mix-ins to make it kind of look old and weathered. So I didn't mind a few pieces being, you know, older gray, but it was some challenging to find some pieces. Like, to find enough 16 by 16 pieces, I had to order from some guy in Germany, and they're like $250 a piece or something. I need
It's always the German sellers that have it.
270 of them. So, but anyway.
And then you've also got the stand down here as well. Was that custom built by you, like just for the exact dimensions?
Yeah, I have a friend who's kind of a woodworker, and so he helped me build this, and it worked out pretty good.
That's like its own project in itself right there.
Yeah, it was. So that was part of the 2 years. So we finished actually building it probably early this year in 2019. And then with the goal of getting it here, kind of had to figure out, okay, what are we going to support on stands? How are we going to transport it? How are we going to get it out of the room? So that's been the last couple months, is figuring all that out.
And I believe this is the first show you've displayed this at, right?
Correct, it is. First and last.
There you go. So what is the process like in terms of transporting this, bringing it in, setting it up, a build of this size? How does that work?
And so I built in an upstairs bedroom, so then we realized it was too wide to fit out the door. So we had to take the top structures all off, and then I built a wood frame around it to kind of compress it so that it could turn sideways, which was kind of the scary part, because turning the structure sideways, I didn't know if it would just fall apart. But it made it out the door and down the stairs, and then we had to rent a U-Haul. We got it all here, and then it took me about 5 hours on Thursdays to reassemble it back to where it is now. But my wife says it's not welcome back in that room again, so we've been looking for a home for it, and likely it's going to go to the Museum of Plastic and Bricks in Ohio.
Yeah, great museum. That should be a great home for it. I think it'll fit in nicely there.
Yeah, I was excited to have it go to a place where it would still be displayed and see. So I was happy to find somewhere that would take it.
I'm not sure what your wife could possibly have that's better than this to display in the house.
Exactly, but she was patient. It took it's taken up a whole room for 2 years now, and mostly I just want people to see it because everyone I know has been to our house and seen it. So. It's just so big. There's just no practical place to put it. Like we had it in our garage for a while, and then one of our cars had to park in the outside. So It's kind of sad to see it go, but I'm happy that I can go visit it sometime in Ohio if I ever want to.
For sure. So the Toy and Plastic Brick Museum in Ohio. People want to check this out. That's where it'll be headed in the next couple months here.
He's coming today to get it.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. Hopefully it'll stay together for him and it will be up there.
Yeah. Well, perfect. Well, I'm glad you went to the effort to build this and bring it to the show here so we could see it at least one time before it's retired to the museum. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.